Let's get ready for the Idaho real estate exam with 100 questions covering key state laws, principles, and practices you'll need to know. And keep an eye on the bottom corner. There's something there that could make a big difference in your prep. We'll tell you how to use it in just a minute. Now let's get started.
Let's start with some questions on licensing requirements and procedures. Idaho licensing requirements and procedures. What is the minimum age requirement to obtain a real estate license in Idaho? Is it A, 16 years, B, 18 years, C, 21 years, or D, 25 years? The answer is B, 18 years. In Idaho, the minimum age to obtain a real estate license is 18 years. This requirement ensures that applicants have reached the age of majority, allowing them to enter into legally binding contracts. How many hours of pre-license education are required for a salesperson license in Idaho? Is it A, 60 hours, B, 75 hours, C, 90 hours, or D, 120 hours? The answer is C, 90 hours. Idaho mandates 90 hours of approved pre-license education for aspiring real estate salespersons. This education ensures that applicants are well prepared for the responsibilities of the profession.
Have you noticed the code in the bottom corner? Next time you're stumped, take that code to birdsy.ai for immediate help and a free study session with Birdsy, your personal AI study partner. Plus, you'll get access to hundreds of additional questions, helping you move closer to passing your exam with confidence. The next time you're feeling unsure or stuck, give it a try.
What is the purpose of the Idaho Real Estate Commission's fingerprinting requirement? Is it A, to conduct a background check, B, to verify educational qualifications, C, to confirm residency status, or D, to assess professional experience? The answer is A, to conduct a background check. Fingerprinting is required for a background check to ensure that applicants do not have a criminal history that would disqualify them from holding a license, ensuring public trust and safety. Continuing education requirements. What is the minimum number of continuing education hours required for a real estate license renewal in Idaho? Is it A, 8 hours, B, 12 hours, C, 15 hours, or D, 20 hours? The answer is B, 12 hours. Idaho requires real estate licensees to complete 12 hours of continuing education every 2 years. This includes 8 hours of elective courses and 4 hours of core courses. How often must a real estate licensee in Idaho complete their continuing education requirements? Is it A, every 2 years, B, annually, C, every 3 years, or D, every 5 years? The answer is A, every 2 years. Idaho real estate licensees must complete continuing education requirements every 2 years to maintain their license and stay informed about industry changes. Which of the following is not typically included in Idaho's continuing education core courses? Is it A, legal updates, B, ethics, C, regulatory changes, or D, marketing strategies? The answer is D, marketing strategies. Core courses generally cover legal updates, ethics, and regulatory changes. Marketing strategies, while important, are typically covered in elective courses rather than core curriculum. Idaho-specific exam structure and content. What is the minimum passing score required on the Idaho-specific portion of the real estate licensing exam? Is it A, 60%, B, 65%, C, 70%, or D, 75%? The answer is C, 70%. The Idaho-specific portion of the real estate licensing exam requires a minimum passing score of 70%. This ensures that candidates have a sufficient understanding of Idaho-specific real estate laws and practices. How many questions are typically included in the Idaho-specific portion of the real estate licensing exam? Is it A, 40, B, 50, C, 60, or D, 70? The answer is A, 40. The Idaho-specific portion of the real estate exam typically consists of 40 questions. This section assesses a candidate's knowledge of state-specific real estate laws and practices. Which entity is responsible for administering the Idaho Real Estate Licensing Exam? Is it A, Idaho Real Estate Commission, B, National Association of Realtors, C, Idaho Department of Finance, or D, PSI? The answer is D, PSI. The Idaho Real Estate Licensing Exam is administered by a third-party testing service, PSI. They manage the scheduling, administration, and scoring of the exam to ensure standardization. Let's continue with Idaho real estate laws and regulations. Idaho-specific fair housing laws. Under Idaho's fair housing laws, which of the following is considered a protected class? Is it A, employment status, B, marital status, C, disability, or D, age? The answer is C, disability. Idaho's fair housing laws protect against discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, national origin, familial status, and disability. This ensures equal housing opportunities for all individuals in these categories. What is the primary purpose of the Idaho Human Rights Commission in relation to fair housing? Is it A, to set housing prices, B, to enforce anti-discrimination laws, C, to provide housing loans, or D, to approve new housing developments? The answer is B, to enforce anti-discrimination laws. The Idaho Human Rights Commission enforces the state's anti-discrimination laws, including fair housing. They investigate complaints and provide education to prevent housing discrimination. Which action is considered discriminatory under Idaho's fair housing laws? Is it A, refusing to rent based on national origin, B, setting a rent price based on market demand, C, requiring a security deposit, or D, conducting credit checks? The answer is A, refusing to rent based on national origin. Refusing to rent to someone based on their national origin is discriminatory. Idaho's fair housing laws prohibit such actions to ensure equal housing opportunities for all. If a landlord in Idaho is found guilty of violating fair housing laws, what is the potential consequence? Is it A, loss of property, B, mandatory public apology, C, community service, or D, fines and penalties? The answer is D, fines and penalties. Violations of Idaho's fair housing laws can result in fines and other penalties. These measures are meant to deter discrimination and ensure compliance with anti-discrimination laws. Which of the following scenarios would be considered a violation of Idaho's fair housing laws? Is it A, charging a pet deposit, B, requiring a security deposit, C, refusing to rent to someone with children, or D, conducting a background check? The answer is C, refusing to rent to someone with children. Refusing to rent to someone based on their familial status is prohibited under Idaho's fair housing laws, which aim to prevent discrimination in housing-related activities.
If you're finding this helpful, please take a minute to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more practice exams, useful tips, and complimentary study sessions with Birdsy.
Idaho-specific contract requirements. What is the minimum requirement for a valid Idaho real estate purchase contract? Is it A, verbal agreement between buyer and seller, B, written agreement with legal description, price, and signatures, C, only buyer's signature on the contract, or D, notarized agreement with witness signatures? The answer is B, written agreement with legal description, price, and signatures. In Idaho, A valid real estate purchase contract must include the legal description of the property, purchase price, and signatures of all parties involved. This ensures clarity and enforceability. In Idaho, what is a key requirement for a real estate contract to be considered legally binding? Is it A, a notary's signature, B, a witness signature, C, consideration, or D, a specific closing date? The answer is C, consideration. In Idaho, a real estate contract must include mutual consent, a legal purpose, and consideration to be legally binding. Consideration refers to something of value exchanged between the parties. What is the purpose of the as-is clause in an Idaho real estate contract? Is it A, to allow price negotiation after inspection, B, to require seller to make all repairs, C, to release seller from repair obligations, or D, to guarantee property is free of defects? The answer is C, to release seller from repair obligations. The as-is clause indicates the buyer accepts the property in its current condition, releasing the seller from liability for repairs post-sale. This clause is crucial for defining responsibilities. In Idaho, what must be included in a real estate contract to address potential environmental hazards? Is it A, warranty of no environmental issues, B, inspection contingency for structural issues, C, clause for mandatory soil testing, or D, environmental disclosure statement? The answer is D, environmental disclosure statement. Idaho real estate contracts should include an environmental disclosure statement to inform buyers of any known hazards. This transparency helps buyers make informed decisions and ensures legal compliance. How does an earnest money deposit function in Idaho real estate contracts? Is it A, as a non-refundable payment, B, as a good faith deposit held in escrow, C, as a penalty fee for contract breach, or D, as a bonus to the real estate agent? The answer is B, as a good faith deposit held in escrow. In Idaho, an earnest money deposit demonstrates the buyer's commitment to the transaction. It is held in escrow and applied to the purchase price at closing, providing security for the seller. Overview of Idaho real estate statutes. What is the primary purpose of the Idaho Real Estate Commission? Is it A, to set property tax rates in Idaho, B, to provide legal advice to real estate agents, C, to license and regulate real estate professionals, or D, to establish market values for real estate transactions? The answer is C, to license and regulate real estate professionals. The Idaho Real Estate Commission is tasked with licensing real estate professionals and ensuring compliance with state laws to protect the public interest. It enforces regulations and standards within the industry. Which of the following is a requirement for obtaining a real estate license in Idaho? Is it A, completion of a pre-license education program, B, residency in Idaho for at least 5 years, C, a degree in real estate from an accredited university, or D, membership in the National Association of Realtors? The answer is A, completion of a pre-license education program. Applicants must complete a pre-license education program, pass the state exam, and submit an application with the required fee. This ensures that licensees are knowledgeable about Idaho real estate laws. What action can the Idaho Real Estate Commission take if a licensee violates real estate laws? Is it A, impose criminal charges, B, suspend or revoke the license, C, increase the licensee's commission rate, or D, require additional continuing education hours? The answer is B, suspend or revoke the license. The Commission can impose penalties such as fines, suspension, or revocation of a license to maintain industry standards and protect consumers from unethical practices. Which document must a seller provide to a buyer under Idaho real estate statutes? Is it A, a copy of the property's previous sale contract, B. A recent property tax statement. C. A list of neighborhood amenities. Or D. A property disclosure statement. The answer is D. A property disclosure statement. The seller is required to provide a property disclosure statement detailing the condition of the property to ensure transparency and informed decision-making by the buyer. Now let's look at Idaho property ownership and land use. Types of property ownership, e.g. fee simple, leasehold, joint tenancy. What is the primary characteristic of fee simple ownership in Idaho? Is it A. It provides the owner with unrestricted rights to the property. B. It is a temporary right to use the property. C. It requires the property to be used for a specific purpose. Or D. It ensures the property is owned jointly with another party. The answer is A. It provides the owner with unrestricted rights to the property. Fee simple ownership is the most complete form of property ownership, granting the owner full rights to use, sell, or lease the property indefinitely without conditions. In Idaho, what happens to the ownership of a property held in joint tenancy if one of the owners dies? Is it A. The deceased owner's share is distributed according to their will? B. The property must be sold and proceeds divided among heirs? C. The deceased owner's share passes to the surviving joint tenants? Or D. The deceased owner's share is transferred to the state? The answer is C. The deceased owner's share passes to the surviving joint tenants. In joint tenancy, the right of survivorship means that the deceased owner's share automatically transfers to the surviving owners, bypassing probate. Which type of property ownership in Idaho allows for ownership to be divided according to specific percentages? Is it A. Joint tenancy, B. Tenancy in common, C. Fee simple, or D. Leasehold estate? The answer is B. Tenancy in common. Tenancy in common allows owners to hold unequal shares, which can be specified and transferred independently, unlike joint tenancy, which requires equal shares. What distinguishes a leasehold estate from other forms of property ownership in Idaho? Is it A. It grants permanent ownership rights, B. It allows for joint ownership with survivorship rights, C. It permits ownership with specific usage conditions, or D. It provides temporary rights to use the property? The answer is D. It provides temporary rights to use the property. A leasehold estate is distinct because it grants the tenant the right to use the property for a specified period, unlike freehold estates, which offer indefinite ownership. Public versus private land use controls. What is the primary purpose of zoning laws in Idaho? Is it A. To increase property taxes, B. To regulate land use and ensure orderly development, C. To enforce building codes, or D. To allocate public funding for infrastructure? The answer is B. To regulate land use and ensure orderly development. Zoning laws in Idaho are primarily designed to regulate land use to ensure orderly development and to segregate incompatible land uses, such as separating industrial areas from residential neighborhoods. Which of the following is a characteristic of a private land use control in Idaho? Is it A. Established by municipal governments, B. Enforced by state law, C. Managed through zoning ordinances, or D. Imposed by homeowners associations? The answer is D. Imposed by homeowners associations. Private land use controls, such as CC&Rs, covenants, conditions, and restrictions, are imposed by private entities like homeowners associations to maintain property values and community standards. In Idaho, which entity is primarily responsible for enforcing public land use controls? Is it A. Municipal governments, B. Homeowners associations, C. State government, or D. Federal government? The answer is A. Municipal governments. Municipal governments in Idaho are responsible for enforcing public land use controls, including zoning regulations and building codes, to ensure compliance with local development plans. What is a common restriction found in private land use controls in Idaho? Is it A, limitations on commercial activities, B, height restrictions for buildings, C, restrictions on paint colors, or D, environmental impact assessments? The answer is C, restrictions on paint colors. Private land use controls often include restrictions on property appearance, such as paint colors, to maintain uniformity and community standards within developments governed by homeowners associations. Land use and zoning laws. What is the primary purpose of zoning laws in Idaho? Is it A, to increase property taxes, B, to regulate land use and ensure orderly development, C, to determine school district boundaries, or D, to establish building codes? The answer is B, to regulate land use and ensure orderly development. Zoning laws in Idaho are designed to regulate land use to promote orderly development, protect the environment, and ensure compatibility between different land uses. They help manage growth and preserve community character. Which of the following is a common zoning classification in Idaho? Is it A, residential, B, industrial, C, agricultural, or D, mixed use? The answer is A, residential. Residential zoning is a common classification in Idaho designated for housing and related uses. It helps ensure that residential areas are developed in a manner consistent with community plans. How can a property owner in Idaho challenge a zoning decision they disagree with? Is it A, by filing a lawsuit directly, B, by ignoring the decision, C, by appealing to the local zoning board, or D, by requesting a variance? The answer is C, by appealing to the local zoning board. Property owners in Idaho can appeal a zoning decision by petitioning the local zoning board or planning commission. This process provides a formal avenue for addressing grievances and seeking modifications. What is a variance in the context of Idaho zoning laws? Is it A, a change in zoning classification, B, a temporary construction permit, C, a type of zoning violation, or D, an exception to zoning regulations? The answer is D, an exception to zoning regulations. A variance is a legal exception to zoning regulations, allowing property owners to use their land in a way that deviates from zoning laws. It is granted under specific circumstances where strict enforcement would cause undue hardship. Which Idaho law governs the subdivision of land for development? Is it A, Idaho Subdivision Act, B, Idaho Land Use Planning Act, C, Idaho Zoning Ordinance, or D, Idaho Real Estate Code? The answer is A, Idaho Subdivision Act. The Idaho Subdivision Act regulates the division of land into smaller lots for development. It ensures that subdivisions comply with local planning and zoning regulations, maintaining orderly growth and infrastructure development. Which governmental body typically oversees zoning regulations in Idaho? Is it A, state legislature, B, city or county planning departments, C, federal government, or D, real estate commission? The answer is B, city or county planning departments. In Idaho, zoning regulations are generally managed at the municipal level by city or county planning departments. These bodies are responsible for implementing zoning ordinances and ensuring compliance with land use plans.
Stuck on a question? Just think of the Birdsy link in the description as your friendly neighborhood superhero, swooping in to save the day with answers. Feel free to explore it now and return to continue. Simply hit pause, and we'll be waiting when you get back.
Condominiums and HOAs. What is the primary function of a homeowners association in a condominium community in Idaho? Is it A, to sell individual condominium units, B, to provide individual property insurance, C, to manage common areas and enforce rules, or D, to offer legal advice to residents? The answer is C, to manage common areas and enforce rules. In Idaho, the HOA is responsible for managing common areas, enforcing community rules, and ensuring maintenance. It acts as a governing body to uphold property values and community standards. Which of the following is a typical responsibility of condominium unit owners in Idaho? Is it A, maintaining the exterior walls of the building, B, maintaining the interior of their unit, C, landscaping the community parks, or D, repairing communal swimming pools? The answer is B, maintaining the interior of their unit. Condominium unit owners in Idaho are typically responsible for maintaining the interior of their units, which includes repairs and upkeep within their property boundaries. Under Idaho law, what must a condominium declaration include? Is it A, a list of all unit owners, B, the price of each unit, C, the specific paint color for each unit, or D, a description of the common areas? The answer is D, a description of the common areas. Idaho law requires a condominium declaration to include a description of the common areas, which outlines the rights and responsibilities of unit owners regarding these shared spaces. How do Idaho HOAs typically enforce community rules? Is it A, issuing fines for rule violations, B, seizing property of violators, C, providing tax incentives, or D, offering discounts on HOA fees? The answer is A, issuing fines for rule violations. Idaho HOAs enforce rules through fines, which serve as a deterrent to violations. This is a common method for ensuring compliance with community standards. Environmental issues and water rights. In Idaho, what is the primary legal doctrine governing water rights? Is it A, riparian rights, B, correlative rights, C, prior appropriation, or D, littoral rights? The answer is C, prior appropriation. Idaho follows the doctrine of prior appropriation, which means water rights are determined by the first person to take water for beneficial use. This doctrine prioritizes historical usage over proximity to the water source. What is a key requirement for establishing a valid water right under Idaho law? Is it A, ownership of adjacent land, B, beneficial use of the water, C, payment of a water tax, or D, approval from neighboring landowners? The answer is B, beneficial use of the water. Under Idaho law, a valid water right requires beneficial use, meaning the water must be used effectively and efficiently for purposes like irrigation, industrial, or domestic use. Which agency regulates environmental issues related to land use in Idaho? Is it A, Idaho Department of Environmental Quality, B, Idaho Department of Water Resources, C, Idaho State Lands Department, or D, Idaho Energy Commission? The answer is A, Idaho Department of Environmental Quality. The Idaho Department of Environmental Quality oversees environmental regulation, including land use issues, ensuring compliance with state and federal laws to protect natural resources. How does Idaho law address the use of land for conservation purposes? Is it A, mandatory state acquisition, B, zoning restrictions, C, tax incentives for development, or D, conservation easements? The answer is D, conservation easements. Idaho law allows for conservation easements, which are voluntary agreements that restrict land use to protect natural resources while maintaining private ownership. Let's continue with Idaho agency law and ethics. Agency relationship laws. What is the primary duty of a real estate agent under Idaho agency law when representing a seller? Is it A, to ensure the buyer gets the best deal possible, B. To act in the seller's best interests. C. To provide equal representation to both buyer and seller. Or D. To disclose all confidential information about the seller to the buyer. The answer is B. To act in the seller's best interests. In Idaho, a real estate agent's primary duty when representing a seller is to act in the seller's best interests, which includes maximizing the sale price and ensuring all transactions are conducted ethically. Under Idaho law, what must a real estate agent disclose to a potential buyer? Is it A. The seller's financial status, B. The agent's commission rate, C. All material facts about the property, or D. The neighborhood crime rate? The answer is C. All material facts about the property. Idaho law requires real estate agents to disclose all material facts about a property that could affect a buyer's decision, ensuring transparency and informed decision-making. Which of the following is a fiduciary duty owed by an Idaho real estate agent to their client? Is it A. Loyalty, B. Negotiating lower commission rates, C. Providing free legal advice, or D. Offering financing options? The answer is A. Fiduciary duties include loyalty, confidentiality, disclosure, obedience, reasonable care, and accounting. These ensure the agent acts in the client's best interests at all times. What is the consequence of an Idaho real estate agent failing to disclose a dual agency? Is it A. The transaction is automatically void, B. Disciplinary action against the agent, C. The agent receives a higher commission, or D. The buyer and seller must renegotiate the contract? The answer is B. Disciplinary action against the agent. Failure to disclose a dual agency can result in disciplinary action, including fines or loss of license, as it breaches the duty of transparency and informed consent. In Idaho, when does an agency relationship typically terminate? Is it A. When the agent decides to end it, B. When the client moves out of state, C. When the property value changes, or D. When the transaction is completed? The answer is D. When the transaction is completed. An agency relationship in Idaho usually ends when the contract expires, the transaction is completed, or by mutual agreement. Other reasons include revocation or renunciation by either party. Fiduciary duties and client representation. What is the primary fiduciary duty an Idaho real estate agent owes to their client? Is it A. B. Disclosure, C. Accounting, or D. Obedience? The answer is A. Loyalty. Loyalty is the primary fiduciary duty, requiring agents to act in the best interests of their clients, even above their own interests. This is foundational in maintaining trust between the agent and client. Under Idaho law, which fiduciary duty requires an agent to keep a client's information confidential? Is it A. Loyalty, B. Confidentiality, C. Reasonable care, or D. Disclosure? The answer is B. Confidentiality. Confidentiality obligates agents to protect private client information, ensuring it is not disclosed without consent. This duty survives the termination of the agency relationship. In Idaho, how should an agent handle a situation where they have a conflict of interest with their client's transaction? Is it A. Ignore the conflict, B. Terminate the relationship, C. Disclose the conflict, or D. Proceed without informing the client? The answer is C. Disclose the conflict. Disclosure is crucial in conflict situations. Agents must inform clients of any conflicts of interest, allowing clients to make informed decisions about continuing the relationship. Which fiduciary duty requires Idaho real estate agents to act with competence and diligence? Is it A. Loyalty, B. Confidentiality, C. Disclosure, or D. Reasonable care and diligence? The answer is D. Reasonable care and diligence. Reasonable care and diligence obligate agents to perform their duties skillfully and carefully, protecting the client's interests through informed and competent actions. What is the consequence if an Idaho agent breaches their fiduciary duty of disclosure? Is it A, the client must terminate the contract? B, the agent may face legal action? C, the agent will lose their license? Or D, no consequence if the client is unaware? The answer is B, the agent may face legal action. Breaching disclosure duties can lead to legal consequences, including lawsuits for damages. Clients rely on full disclosure to make informed decisions about transactions. Idaho Ethics Guidelines and Enforcement. What is the primary purpose of the Idaho Real Estate Commission's Code of Ethics? Is it A, to increase real estate agent commissions? B, to promote integrity and protect the public? C, to limit competition among agents? Or D, to regulate real estate marketing strategies? The answer is B, to promote integrity and protect the public. The Idaho Real Estate Commission's Code of Ethics is designed to ensure that real estate professionals adhere to standards that promote integrity, fairness, and honesty in all dealings, thereby protecting the public interest. Which of the following actions might lead to disciplinary measures under Idaho's ethics guidelines? Is it A, offering a competitive commission rate? B, disclosing all known property defects? C, failing to disclose a known property defect? Or D, providing accurate market analysis? The answer is C, failing to disclose a known property defect. Failing to disclose a known property defect is a violation of ethical guidelines and can lead to disciplinary actions, as it compromises transparency and honesty in transactions. How does the Idaho Real Estate Commission enforce ethical guidelines? Is it A, by conducting investigations and hearings? B, by imposing mandatory fines only? C, by issuing automatic license suspensions? Or D, by offering voluntary compliance workshops? The answer is A, by conducting investigations and hearings. The Idaho Real Estate Commission enforces ethical guidelines through a structured process that includes investigation of complaints, hearings, and potential disciplinary actions to ensure compliance. What is a key component of ethical practice under Idaho agency law? Is it A, maximizing agent commissions? B, ensuring high property prices? C, promoting agency branding? Or D, maintaining client confidentiality? The answer is D, maintaining client confidentiality. A key component of ethical practice is maintaining client confidentiality, which is crucial for protecting client interests and fostering trust in agency relationships. What is the consequence of an agent violating Idaho's ethics guidelines? Is it A, automatic license renewal? B, potential fines or license suspension? C, mandatory community service? Or D, increased commission rates? The answer is B, potential fines or license suspension. Violating Idaho's ethics guidelines can lead to disciplinary actions, which may include fines, license suspension, or revocation, depending on the severity and nature of the violation.
Don't forget to comment below with your tips, challenges, and thoughts on exam preparation. Your experiences can make a big difference for others.
Now let's review Idaho property valuation. Basic principles of property valuation. What is the primary purpose of an appraisal in Idaho property valuation? Is it A, to determine the market value of a property? B, to establish the historical value of a property? C, to set the selling price of a property? Or D, to assess the structural integrity of a property? The answer is A, to determine the market value of a property. An appraisal provides an unbiased estimate of a property's market value essential for transactions, lending, and taxation. It ensures fair market practices by considering various factors influencing property value. Which principle states that a property's value is influenced by the cost of acquiring an equally desirable substitute? Is it A, principle of contribution, B, principle of substitution, C, principle of conformity, or D, principle of progression? The answer is B, principle of substitution. The principle of substitution suggests that a buyer will not pay more for a property than the cost of a similar alternative. It is fundamental in determining market value. How does the principle of highest and best use apply to property valuation? Is it A, it focuses on the current use of the property, B, it considers only the physical attributes of the property, C, it evaluates the most profitable legal use of the property, or D, it determines the historical significance of the property? The answer is C, it evaluates the most profitable legal use of the property. The highest and best use principle evaluates the most profitable legal use of a property, considering its potential to generate maximum value. It guides appraisers in assessing potential improvements or changes. What does the principle of contribution imply in property valuation? Is it A, each property component has equal value, B, the cost of improvements equals their value, C, property value is determined by market trends, or D, value is based on a feature's contribution to overall value? The answer is D, value is based on a feature's contribution to overall value. The principle of contribution indicates that the value of a property feature is based on its contribution to overall property value, not its cost. It helps appraisers assess improvements' impact. Sales comparison, cost, and income approaches. In the sales comparison approach, which of the following factors is most critical when selecting comparable properties? Is it A, age of the property, B, location, C, owner's motivation, or D, interior design? The answer is B, location. Location is crucial in the sales comparison approach because it directly affects property value. Comparable properties should be in similar locations to accurately reflect market conditions. Which component is not typically included in the cost approach to property valuation? Is it A, land value, B, construction costs, C, income potential, or D, depreciation? The answer is C, income potential. The cost approach involves land value, construction costs, and depreciation. Income potential is not included as it pertains to the income approach. In the income approach, what is the capitalization rate used for? Is it A, converting income into an estimate of value, B, adjusting for market fluctuations, C, calculating construction costs, or D, determining depreciation? The answer is A, converting income into an estimate of value. The capitalization rate is used to convert income into an estimate of value. It reflects the investor's required rate of return on investment properties. What is the primary purpose of adjusting comparable sales in the sales comparison approach? Is it A, to increase the value of the subject property, B, to decrease the value of the comparables, C, to align with the owner's expectations, or D, to reflect differences between properties? The answer is D, to reflect differences between properties. Adjustments are made to account for differences between the subject property and comparables, ensuring a more accurate market value estimation. Let's continue with a review of Idaho real estate financing. Mortgage loans and financing options. Which type of mortgage loan, commonly used in Idaho, allows borrowers to pay only the interest for a set period before principal payments begin? Is it A, fixed-rate mortgage, B, adjustable rate mortgage, C, interest-only mortgage, Or D, balloon payment mortgage? The answer is C, interest-only mortgage. An interest-only mortgage allows borrowers to pay just the interest for a specific time, usually 5 to 10 years, before principal payments are required. This can make initial payments lower, but may lead to higher payments later. What is a key feature of the Idaho Housing and Finance Association loan programs for first-time homebuyers? Is it A, no credit check required? B, down payment assistance? C, interest rates below 1%? Or D, no income documentation needed? The answer is B, down payment assistance. IHFA offers down payment and closing cost assistance to first-time homebuyers, making it easier to afford the initial costs of purchasing a home. This assistance can significantly reduce the financial burden on new buyers. What distinguishes a USDA loan option available in Idaho from other types of loans? Is it A, requires a large down payment? B, only available for urban properties? C, higher interest rates than conventional loans? Or D, no down payment required? The answer is D, no down payment required. USDA loans are designed for rural areas and offer 100% financing, meaning no down payment is required. This makes them unique compared to conventional loans that usually require a down payment. In Idaho, what is a significant advantage of choosing an FHA loan for a home purchase? Is it A, low down payment requirement? B, no mortgage insurance needed? C, available only to veterans? Or D, exclusively for luxury homes? The answer is A, low down payment requirement. FHA loans are popular for their low down payment requirement, often as low as 3.5%, making them accessible for borrowers who may not have substantial savings. Loan applications and approval processes. What is the primary purpose of the loan estimate form in Idaho's loan application process? Is it A, to provide borrowers with detailed loan terms and estimated costs? B, to finalize the loan agreement between the borrower and lender? C, to verify the borrower's credit score and financial history? Or D, to assess the property's market value for the lender? The answer is A, to provide borrowers with detailed loan terms and estimated costs. The loan estimate form provides borrowers with important details about the loan terms, estimated costs, and fees. It helps borrowers compare different loan offers and make informed decisions. In Idaho, which document officially confirms a borrower's loan approval? Is it A, loan estimate? B, closing disclosure? C, commitment letter? Or D, purchase agreement? The answer is C, commitment letter. The commitment letter is an official document from the lender that confirms the loan approval and outlines the terms and conditions under which the loan will be granted. Which factor is least likely to affect a borrower's loan approval in Idaho? Is it A, credit score? B, age of the borrower? C, debt-to-income ratio? Or D, employment history? The answer is B, age of the borrower. The age of the borrower is generally not a significant factor in loan approval, as long as the borrower is legally able to enter into a contract and meets other financial criteria. What role does the appraisal process play in the Idaho loan approval process? Is it A, to verify the borrower's employment history? B, to assess the borrower's creditworthiness? C, to finalize the loan terms and conditions? Or D, to determine the property's market value? The answer is D, to determine the property's market value. The appraisal process determines the market value of the property being purchased. This ensures the lender that the property value supports the loan amount requested by the borrower. Idaho mortgage disclosure requirements. What must a lender provide to a borrower under Idaho's mortgage disclosure requirements before closing a mortgage loan? Is it A, a copy of the deed? B. A closing disclosure form. C. A copy of the appraisal report. Or D. A title insurance policy. The answer is B. A closing disclosure form. Idaho law requires lenders to provide a closing disclosure form at least 3 business days before closing. This ensures borrowers have time to review loan terms and costs. Which of the following is a primary purpose of Idaho's mortgage disclosure requirements? Is it A. To ensure transparency and consumer protection? B. To increase the lender's profit margins? C. To expedite the loan approval process? Or D. To eliminate the need for title insurance? The answer is A. To ensure transparency and consumer protection. The primary purpose is to ensure transparency and protect consumers by providing them with clear and timely information about the terms and costs of their mortgage loans. Under Idaho law, when must a lender issue a loan estimate to a borrower? Is it A. At the time of closing? B. 1 week before closing? C. Within 3 business days of receiving the application? Or D. After the appraisal is completed? The answer is C. Within 3 business days of receiving the application. Lenders must issue a loan estimate within 3 business days of receiving a loan application. This helps borrowers understand the key features, costs, and risks of the mortgage. What information must be included in the closing disclosure provided to borrowers in Idaho? Is it A. The borrower's credit score? B. The lender's profit margin? C. The property's assessed value? Or D. Loan terms, projected payments, and closing costs? The answer is D. Loan terms, projected payments, and closing costs. The closing disclosure must include loan terms, projected monthly payments, and closing costs. This comprehensive overview helps borrowers understand their financial obligations. Idaho-Specific loan programs. What is the primary purpose of the Idaho Housing and Finance Association loan programs? Is it A. To provide luxury housing options? B. To assist first-time homebuyers with affordable housing? C. To fund commercial real estate projects? Or D. To offer financial advice for real estate investors? The answer is B. To assist first-time homebuyers with affordable housing. IHFA loan programs are designed to assist first-time homebuyers and low to moderate income families in obtaining affordable housing. They offer various resources and support to make homeownership more accessible. Which of the following is a benefit of the Idaho Rural Development Loan Program? Is it A. 100% financing options? B. Higher interest rates? C. Limited to urban areas? Or D. Requires a 20% down payment? The answer is A. 100% financing options. The Idaho Rural Development Loan Program offers 100% financing options, making it easier for eligible rural residents to purchase homes without needing a large down payment. Which Idaho-specific loan program is designed to support veterans purchasing homes? Is it A. Idaho First-Time Homebuyer Loan? B. Idaho Rural Development Loan? C. Idaho Veterans Home Loan? Or D. Idaho Urban Assistance Loan? The answer is C. Idaho Veterans Home Loan. The Idaho Veterans Home Loan Program offers favorable terms for veterans, including lower interest rates and reduced fees to help them secure home ownership in Idaho. What is a key feature of the Idaho Mortgage Credit Certificate Program? Is it A. Provides down payment assistance? B. Requires no credit check? C. Offers variable interest rates? Or D. Offers a federal tax credit on mortgage interest? The answer is D. Offers a federal tax credit on mortgage interest. The MCC program allows homebuyers to claim a federal tax credit for a portion of the mortgage interest they pay, reducing their federal income tax liability and making homeownership more affordable.
Notice the code in the corner? When you're stumped by a question, enter it at birdsy.ai for immediate help. Enjoy complimentary study sessions and access to hundreds of additional questions to help you pass your exam with confidence.
Idaho Housing and Finance Association. What is the primary mission of the Idaho Housing and Finance Association? Is it A, to expand housing opportunities and foster economic development? B, to regulate real estate transactions in Idaho? C, to provide legal advice for housing disputes? Or D, to manage state-funded public housing projects? The answer is A, to expand housing opportunities and foster economic development. The IHFA's mission is to improve lives and strengthen Idaho communities by expanding housing opportunities, building self-sufficiency, and fostering economic development. This is achieved through various programs and services. Which program is administered by the IHFA to assist first-time homebuyers in Idaho? Is it A, Rural Development Loan Program? B, First-Time Homebuyer Program? C, Veterans Housing Assistance Program? Or D, Affordable Rental Housing Program? The answer is B, First-Time Homebuyer Program. The IHFA administers the First-Time Homebuyer Program, offering down payment assistance and favorable loan terms to eligible participants, helping them overcome financial barriers to homeownership. How does the IHFA support affordable rental housing development in Idaho? Is it A, by offering interest-free loans to landlords? B, by providing grants to tenants directly? C, by allocating low-income housing tax credits? Or D, by building and managing its own rental properties? The answer is C, by allocating low-income housing tax credits. The IHFA supports affordable rental housing through the allocation of low-income housing tax credits, which incentivizes developers to build or renovate affordable housing units. What role does the IHFA play in the administration of the Idaho Homelessness Program? Is it A, it provides direct shelter services to the homeless? B, it enforces housing regulations for homeless shelters? C, it offers job training programs for the homeless? Or D, it coordinates funding and resources with local agencies? The answer is D, it coordinates funding and resources with local agencies. The IHFA administers the Idaho Homelessness Program by coordinating with local agencies to distribute funds and resources aimed at reducing homelessness across the state. Now, let's look at Idaho disclosure requirements and forms. Idaho-Specific disclosure requirements. What is the primary purpose of the Idaho Seller Property Disclosure Form? Is it A, to determine the market value of the property? B, to provide a list of recent renovations? C, to disclose known defects or issues with the property? Or D, to outline the terms of sale? The answer is C, to disclose known defects or issues with the property. The Idaho Seller Property Disclosure Form is designed to inform potential buyers of any known defects or issues with the property, ensuring transparency and reducing the risk of future disputes. Which of the following is a requirement for Idaho real estate agents regarding disclosure of agency relationships? Is it A, disclosure must occur at the first substantial business contact? B, disclosure is only required at closing? C, disclosure is optional and at the agent's discretion? Or D, disclosure must be made after an offer is accepted? The answer is A, disclosure must occur at the first substantial business contact. Idaho law mandates that real estate agents disclose their agency relationship to clients at the first substantial business contact, ensuring clients are aware of the agent's role and responsibilities. What must be included in an Idaho lead-based paint disclosure? Is it A, the previous owner's contact information? B, a federally approved pamphlet on lead hazards? C, a detailed history of paint colors used? Or D, the property's renovation history? The answer is B, a federally approved pamphlet on lead hazards. The disclosure must include a statement about the presence of lead-based paint, a federally approved pamphlet on lead hazards, and records of any lead assessment or testing conducted. When selling a property in Idaho, when must the property condition disclosure be delivered to the buyer? Is it A, at the time of closing, B, after the inspection period, C, after the offer is accepted, or D, before signing a purchase agreement? The answer is D, before signing a purchase agreement. The disclosure must be provided before the buyer signs a purchase agreement to ensure they are fully informed of the property's condition before committing to the purchase. Commonly used Idaho forms. Which form is typically used in Idaho to disclose the condition of a property to potential buyers? Is it A, lead-based paint disclosure, B, agency disclosure brochure, C, seller's property condition disclosure, or D, purchase and sale agreement? The answer is C, seller's property condition disclosure. The seller's property condition disclosure form is used in Idaho to inform buyers about the current state of a property, including any known defects or issues, ensuring transparency in real estate transactions. What is the primary purpose of the Idaho Agency Disclosure Brochure? Is it A, to inform consumers about agency relationships, B, to outline the terms of a real estate contract, C, to disclose property defects, or D, to provide a list of licensed real estate agents? The answer is A, to inform consumers about agency relationships. The Idaho Agency Disclosure Brochure is designed to educate consumers about the various types of agency relationships available in real estate transactions, helping them understand the roles and responsibilities of agents. Which form must be provided to buyers of homes built before 1978 in Idaho? Is it A, seller's property condition disclosure, B, lead-based paint disclosure, C, radon gas disclosure, or D, agency disclosure brochure? The answer is B, lead-based paint disclosure. The lead-based paint disclosure form is required for homes built before 1978 to inform buyers of potential lead paint hazards as mandated by federal law to ensure safety and awareness. What information is typically not included in the Idaho seller's property condition disclosure? Is it A, roof condition, B, plumbing issues, C, presence of pests, or D, seller's financial status? The answer is D, seller's financial status. The seller's property condition disclosure does not include personal financial information of the seller. It focuses on the property's physical condition and any known defects or issues. Specific procedures for transactions. Which form is required for disclosing the presence of lead-based paint in properties built before 1978 in Idaho? Is it A, property condition disclosure form, B, seller's property disclosure form, C, lead-based paint disclosure form, or D, environmental hazard disclosure form? The answer is C, lead-based paint disclosure form. The lead-based paint disclosure form is mandatory for properties built before 1978 to inform buyers of potential lead hazards and comply with federal regulations. In Idaho, which party is responsible for providing the property condition disclosure form to the buyer? Is it A, the seller, B, the buyer, C, the real estate agent, or D, the lender? The answer is A, the seller. In Idaho, the seller is responsible for providing the property condition disclosure form to the buyer, ensuring transparency about the property's condition before the transaction is finalized. What is the primary purpose of the agency disclosure brochure in Idaho real estate transactions? Is it A, to disclose property defects, B, to inform about agency relationships, C. To provide financing options. Or D. To outline closing procedures. The answer is B. To inform about agency relationships. The agency disclosure brochure is designed to inform clients about the types of agency relationships available, ensuring they understand how agents will represent their interests. When must the Idaho seller's property condition disclosure form be delivered to the buyer? Is it A. After closing, B. During the home inspection, C. After the acceptance of the offer, or D. Before the acceptance of the offer? The answer is D. Before the acceptance of the offer. The Idaho seller's property condition disclosure form must be delivered to the buyer before the acceptance of a purchase offer to ensure informed decision-making.
Thanks for joining us today. If you found this video helpful, subscribe to our channel for more practice exams, tips, and tricks. And don't forget to visit Birdsy.ai for complimentary study sessions with Birdsy, your AI-powered study partner.